So when it comes to knowledge of the world, Locke says, there are actually two different kinds of qualities objects have, and we know them in two different ways. Primary qualities are those qualities had by material objects themselves. Okay? These are things like shape, size, mobility. These properties are in the object itself, and it's a product of the construction of the object. The way the object is put together results in its size, it results in its shape, it results in its capability to be moved or to move itself. So these are properties the object has as a product of its construction. Secondary qualities, on the other hand, are qualities objects have, but they exist as ideas in our mind. Let me rephrase that. The qualities, secondary qualities, are ideas in our minds as a product of interacting with the object, our sensory perception interacting with the object. These properties are things like color and taste, texture. The power to produce these ideas exists in the objects, but the chair is not actually brown. In other words, in the chair itself does not exist the color brown. What exists in the chair is the power to create the idea of brown in my mind when my sensory organs interact with the object under the right conditions. Okay? So interacting with the object gives the idea of color and texture and smell. I want you to think for a minute about what you learned about color. I remember learning this in something like the 3rd or 4th grade in art class. And certainly it was discussed in science classes throughout the rest of my education. But I remember learning that color is a matter of wavelengths of light. And when light shines, for lack of a better word, on an object, certain wavelengths are absorbed and certain wavelengths are reflected. When those wavelengths are reflected, those wavelengths interact with my eye, which cause me to, quote unquote, see green or red or purple, what have you. That's what Locke was saying just in the 16th century. Okay? Locke talked about dust particles that left the object and interacted with my eye, giving me the idea of color. Okay, they're not dust particles, they're wavelengths of light, but the rest of the explanation isn't far off. Texture has to do with my sense of touch interacting with the object. Smell and taste are the same way, hearing. So all of those ideas about the object only exist as ideas in my mind. The chair is not, in fact, smooth. It's not brown. The size of the chair, the extension, is in the object. The shape of the chair, that it has arms, that it's made of wood. These are things that exist in the object itself. But the properties that we really associate with the objects are only representations. They exist only in our minds. They are ideas in our minds. Does that make sense? And these objects, he says, do in fact exist in the world. Okay, there is in fact an external world. I know y'all don't see that as a problem, but we will. Just hold on to your horses. Okay, he says we see and feel objects in the world. And the most reasonable explanation for that is that there is in fact an external world, and my senses do in fact interact with it. Not only that, but we can confirm each other's reports. When more than one person witnesses an accident, those people can confirm the reports. If 5 people see a person fly without a jetpack or hang glider or anything like that, those 5 people can confirm each other's reports that they saw a person fly. And when we have memories, they're never quite the same as sensations. I can remember feeling the sun on my face, hearing the ocean, smelling the salt air. And I can dismiss those memories. But I cannot dismiss the sensations I'm having right now, the sensation of seeing the computer screen. Those are sensations that cannot be just simply shooed away like memories can be. And memories are never quite as vivid as the sensations themselves. And so that tells us our sensations, there's something to them. There's something more powerful. There's perhaps something not just inside of us that is causing them. And all of these things, Locke says, proves the existence of the external world. So that we see and feel objects in the world, that we confirm other people's reports, that we can't simply shoo away sensations like we can memories, and sensations are more vivid than memories. The fact that all of those is true tells us, Locke says, that there is in fact an external world, and those objects in the world have primary qualities, qualities that are a product of their construction. But at the same time, they have secondary properties, properties that are a product of our interaction that exist in our mind. And these are the properties we think of as the object. But when we all look at the chair and say it's red or green or brown, we can feel confident that there is a chair out there. And it is creating in our minds the idea of red or green or brown. Does that make sense?